And we are
All
live.
right. Sorry for the delay, folks. This is another off the post. Again, I'm not DJ Redcap Fred Durst. But we're going to have a good show for you today. We're going to talk some U.S. Women's National Team. We're going to talk some NWSL. First, as you may have noticed, the Redcap is not here today. So he was, again, cool enough to entrust us with the show. Shout out, DJ. We miss you. But he'll be back later this week because there's lots of stuff going on. So I'm here. Still Courtney. Don't have the name bar today, sorry, but still here. It's me and the Jens today. So that won't be confusing. I'll remember to use last names. And there we go. So we'll just say hello. Hi, now that the camera's actually on me. Hello. Jen Hayes, what have you been up to lately?
Nothing much, really. Watching some soccer, doing the work thing. Pretty much same old stuff as usual.
Okay. All right. And Jen Carl, what have you been up to lately?
Same thing. Soccer, work. There was some stuff happening this weekend, I think, that I may have done. So, I may or may not have a star sunburn into the side of my face. It's all good.
Well, there's that. So we're going to start talking about that game that may have happened yesterday. That was pretty cool. Just to start off, I know, didn't really see any changes lineup-wise. Obviously, Sydney Leroux wasn't available. Other players didn't get some action because they're just coming back from injury. Alex Morgan, Lauren Holiday, and so forth. I guess looking forward, do you guys think that this should be, because I think I heard some mention that there might be some other players called in later at later stops in the tour. Do you guys think that that's necessary and that should be happening? Or you guys think that this should be solely just like a victory tour? We'll go with Jen Carl first.
Yeah, as much as I think other players should be getting experience right now with Olympic qualifying coming up, I don't know that the victory tour is the place for them to do that. It is good experience for them coming in and playing teams like Costa Rica and Brazil and Australia, but at the same point, it is a victory tour and not to, call out the other players or anything, but they haven't been victorious yet. So that's just kind of weird to me, I guess. So I don't know. I would like to see them wait and call up other players after the victory tour is over.
Okay. Jen Hayes, thoughts?
Well, I'm kind of, these first couple games with no new faces being called in, and it's against Costa Rica, I'm fine with that, It's let the players that were, part of the World Cup have their moment, don't disrupt the NWSL too much, but as we get along, because there is such a short window between the end of the tour and the camp for Olympic qualifiers, I think maybe getting in a couple of new faces would be a good idea. And, we did have some players on the 2004 tour that were not part of the Olympic roster. I mean, that's when Barney got her first cap as a field player. I don't know if any of you remember back that far. But she wasn't on the Olympic roster, and she was brought in as a replacement for Brianna Scurry in one of the games and, got her first cap. So I think if we maybe wait till the last 4 games, maybe bring in one new player for the Brazil games, 1 or 2, and then bring in a couple more. As long as the players that were at the World Cup get their proper monetary compensation, I'm fine with that. But for now, it's let's have just the 23, let them celebrate a nice big win, enjoy the fact that they did win the World Cup. And yeah, so I'm okay with it for right now.
Yeah, I think to kind of put into perspective, Jill Ellis has asked this at the press conference before open training on Saturday, and I think her kind of perspective of it was just really focusing on celebration for the first couple games, and and then obviously she does kind of have to look towards if she's going to bring some players in maybe towards the end of this tour, just because again there is such a short window. But I can kind of see it both ways. I definitely think that if you're calling it the Victory Tour, it should be the people who were part of the victory, I guess. But it's also it's very a tight timeline. The last couple of games are going to be in early to mid-December, and then the qualifying happens in February. So there's not really a lot of time to look in between that to look at any new players. So that's what I got out of kind of the media stuff on Saturday, is that first couple games, yeah, Victory Tour great, but eventually I think she recognized she's going to have to start looking forward towards the Olympics at some point during this tour, because she just doesn't have the time to do after. So we'll see what happens there. That should be interesting. Starting lineup. There were some changes. Maybe expected, maybe not expected. What did you think, Jen Hayes, of the starting lineup?
Mm-hmm. I actually kind of liked it. I mean, it was a good way to give time to players who hadn't seen a lot during the World Cup. Get Whitney Engen some time since she didn't play at all. Get in free Heyo since she barely played. It was a good lineup, and obviously we got off to a quick start against Costa Rica. Like I said, Heyo gets freed, and oh look, 4th minute she gets a goal. Now I had to watch that part later because I missed like the first 10 minutes because I didn't get off work until the game started. So, but yeah, it was a fine lineup. Again, it's not to be too mean, but Costa Rica is not at the same level that we are. So I think whatever lineup we would have put out there had been fine. I liked it. I liked seeing A-Rod and Press get some time together since they were pretty much sidelined for most of the World Cup. That was a good one, even though I didn't think A-Rod did very well. So yeah, I was happy.
Okay, and Jen Carl, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it was a fun starting lineup, especially being a Spirit fan. Finally seeing Ashlyn in goal, that was nice. But yeah, I mean, like Jen Hayes said, it was good to see some of the players who didn't get a whole lot of time in the World Cup get some time on the field with Heyo, and I don't think Engen came in until the second half, but Ashlyn again, just seeing them kind of get in there. Christy Rampone even didn't get a whole lot of playing time, so that was kind of nice to see. But I mean, it was a solid first half. We scored 4 goals, so it was a good lineup.
Yeah, I think it was weird. I saw a lot of things on Twitter about the lack of Becky Sauerbrunn, and I think that I agree. It was weird to not see her out there, but weird to not see her out there. But there's something that kind of gave me a little bit of the feels by seeing Julie Johnston and Rampone, out there together. I thought back to that video last year, a couple years ago, whatever, when they're talking about Johnston being out there with the national team someday, and I think Rampone kind of joked about like, oh, I'll be done, I'll be watching, but there they are, together back there. So I kind of had a little like, oh, I miss Brune, but was like, oh, that's really cute, kind of moment there. So I think it was great. Like, I think it's great that, like, it's already been said, but to see Ashlyn, get another start, to see Heyo, and just players that didn't really get a lot of time necessarily, just get in there and, get some time, because why not? Did either one, we'll start with Jen Carl first, have any, I guess, expectations of Costa Rica coming into this game, and if so, were they accurate, I guess, is the way I want to phrase that?
No. I didn't think we were going to beat them down quite that badly, to be honest. Because, I mean, they did show up in the World Cup. Like, they're not on our level, but they tied Spain. They did show up. So I wasn't expecting it to be quite that bad. I thought maybe they had one goal in them somewhere. But it didn't happen. We just kind of kept plowing through them. So yeah, my expectations weren't really met on Costa Rica's end.
Jen Hayes, what were your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I didn't expect much of Costa Rica, to be quite honest. I mean, I know they did well in the World Cup, but they're missing Shirley Cruz, they're missing Raquel Rodriguez, who are two of their best players. And the fact that, they've never even, I don't know where people are coming, oh, they might get a goal when they've never, ever scored on us before and still haven't. So I didn't have great expectations. I didn't think it would be an 8-0. I know we've beaten them 8-0 before again, but I thought maybe 5-0, 6-0 at the most. 8-0 was a little much even for me, so kind of disappointed. Hopefully they put up a little bit more of a fight on Wednesday.
Yeah, I thought, because they did lose to them 8-0 right after the Olympics. They lost to them. Last time they played them was 6-0 in the CONCACAF final. But I guess, I don't know, they did look better, I thought, in the World Cup, so I don't know that I thought they were going to score, but I didn't think they were going to get 8 goals. But like you said, Jen Hayes, they were missing probably 2 of the strongest players on the team. So I was a little bit surprised about the kind of a rough game that the goalkeeper had, just because she's been very solid for them throughout the World Cup for the most part, and she just kind of from the get-go, like, it's hard when you get beat near post, I think, anytime for a goalkeeper, and then, I think it was one of Kristen Press's goals where she just the rebound didn't get cleared, but she didn't really get a good hand on it, and, that happened. So, yeah, I definitely don't think that I expected them to get destroyed that badly, but, it happened. So,
well, they mentioned during the broadcast something about her needing surgery and not being able to pay for it. So either they were, working around it or what, but that could have been a factor.
Yeah, and I did definitely miss that. So that may have been, I don't know if there's some sort of like injury or something going on there, but that definitely could have played a part if that's the case. But it's always kind of sad when you see someone who like has come up big for a team and kind of just have a rough day to that level. But I agree. Hopefully they kind of pick it up and get it back together in the next game. But we'll see. So first half, what were some things that we thought went well? Who do you think played well? Jen, Carl?
Well, Kristen Press obviously had a great game. Peo was ridiculous. Ashlyn Harris, I think, touched the ball twice. that says a lot about the back line. Once again, being phenomenal as always, even without Bruin back there. Yeah, everybody seemed to click very well, both in the first half and the second half. So it was just an overall good team performance. I think Heo was the standout for me, but other than that, I really can't say one player did better or worse than another. It was a very cohesive game, which was nice to see.
Jen Hayes, first half?
Yeah, one of the things that kind of stood out to me was Shannon Box. We dogged on her about, oh, she's too old, she's this, she's that, or whatever. But she played well. She kind of reminded us, oh, what a true defensive midfielder looks after suffering through I don't know how many months, years of pseudo DMs. So that was good to see, and something Ellis might want to think about more than once in a while. Maybe look at a true DM. Keelan Winters, Jen Paskowski, you name it. There's a ton of them in the NWSL. But that's a topic. That's a topic for later. So Shannon Box was good. Yeah, just a pretty kind of a little bit of a quiet game for Lloyd. I thought. Yeah, I know she's more the big game than the friendlies, but I thought she would show probably a little bit more than she did. I don't know, maybe she's tired. So I expected a little more from Lloyd, was pleasantly surprised by Box. Everybody else in that first half was really good.
Yeah, I think, we haven't really got to see Box play that much recently, but I think even when we have, there hasn't really been anything that's been, necessarily outstanding, but I definitely like kind of had a mini, and I saw somebody else that I was talking to mention this, you know, kind of a little bit of like a flashback. Might have either been Karen or Jackie, and like on Facebook or something like that, mentioned that there was like a bit of a flashback when, you know, Shannon Box in the first half, like she was, you know, killing it, had a great game, and you know, something we hadn't really seen from her for a while. A, because we haven't really seen a lot of her, and B, when we had it, hadn't really been kind of to that level where she's been in the past. But that was really good to see, and I think, you know, everyone was like, free Hayo, yay, and she sure didn't waste any time getting that goal, and I can only imagine how, you know, good that feels when you kind of had to probably, I mean, obviously you're great, happy you won the World Cup, but disappointed in your contribution and, you know, playing time during that event, and you get your chance in the first, you know, game after that, and you're like, I'm going to go and score a goal immediately. And that was a nice little, you know, stole the ball, kind of just went right in there. And again, I say when you beat the goalkeeper near post, that's pretty cool, because I don't know, I'm from the school of you probably shouldn't be beaten as a goalkeeper near post ever. But, yeah, I mean, that was great. And I think, you know, Jill Ellis mentioned that she thought that they played a professional first half, and I would agree with that. I think they were very together and just kind of had their stuff together, which, you know, sometimes we kind of watch them play and they don't have their stuff together. But, you know, they really did, especially in the first half, and so that was pretty cool. What were your thoughts on the substitutions, since they were all second half? We'll just go there. Were you happy with substitutions? Was there anyone else that you would have liked to see play? Go with Jen Hayes.
No, substitutions were pretty much what I expected. I didn't expect 5 of them to be made right at halftime. I mean, I figured Hope would get at least a half. I figured, was it Tobin that came in the second half?
At halftime also, yeah.
Yeah, figured. And thanks for the correction on Whitney Yang and not starting. I got my halves mixed up. So yeah, I like them all. Kind of surprised that if she was gonna bring in Wambach, that she wasn't one of those halftime subs and maybe made another one later. So yeah, pretty much what I expected. Other than, like I said, the fact that 5 of them got made at halftime. And it was a little worrying when we had made our 6 and then Allie Krieger takes a little bit of a knock. It's like, oh boy, are we going to have to play how many minutes with 10 if she can't continue? But fortunately, it was just something minor she was able to go on. So pretty much par for the course.
Yeah, all of us in the press box, I made those subs and we were like, wait, who got subbed? Because they were like, they did a lot of position shifting too. It was like people got subbed for out of position people, and we're like, wait, who got subbed for who? What happened? What, like, what's going on here? Where's Megan Klingenberg playing now? Confusing. But yeah, so that was definitely kind of like, wow, there's so many subs and we don't really know what's going on. But Jen Carl, what were your thoughts on the subs?
Yeah, it was kind of expected. I mean, I thought maybe Brune might go in, but I guess I can understand why she didn't. I wasn't surprised Hope went in, just because it is the Victory Tour, so you kind of expect to see, you know, Hope and Abby go in because everybody wants to see Hope and Abby. But yeah, I mean, it was kind of expected otherwise. You know, Morgan Bryan, I think, went in for Boxy, so that was kind of to be expected. Tobin going in. The one thing that was interesting about that, though, was that she went in as a center midfielder, which is weird because she's always a flank player. And then Shoops, I think, went in for A-Rod, which was another really weird one. So there were a lot of out-of-position subs, but you know, it ended up working out because we got 4 goals in the second half, too. So, hey.
Yeah, I think we were talking about that before, and maybe we'll elaborate more on the during like the second half part, but about Tobin going in and being used. And Ellis said that was kind of she was trying her out there. So who knows if we'll see more of that in the future. But yeah, that was I kind of said what I had to say about the subs already. I mean, I expected a lot of them to go in, and I know, and I think they're trying because it is still the middle of the NWSL season. I think that, you know, they're trying to limit the minutes, which is probably why we saw so many go on right at halftime, just because, you know, Ellis had mentioned being aware that, you know, there's people still in professional season, so having to kind of watch minutes and things like that and make sure they were healthy and such. But yeah, I also got nervous when Krieger took a bit of a knock, and I was like, we have no subs left. I hope you're okay because I hope you're okay. B, I hope you're okay because there's no more subs left. So, okay, thanks. But yeah, I don't really have any complaints. I mean, other people that you could have used, like Holiday coming back from injury, Alex Morgan coming back from injury. So I mentioned that Kelly O'Hara had a bit of an ankle thing going on yesterday too. So probably why we didn't see her. But yeah, I don't have a problem. I think they were all good, and like you said, they scored 4 goals second half, so clearly effective. And yeah, I expect to see that. And I guess kind of friendlies, or especially in a victory tour, lots of lineup changes and things like that. So on that note, with all the subs, what are some thoughts on the second half, Jen Carl?
The second half was a better half to me. I don't necessarily know why. I just like the pace more in the second half, I think. I'm trying to remember it. It was all kind of a whirlwind after Kling's goal, which was fantastic, by the way. That Kling goal, I think, was the highlight probably of the match, with Tobin on the assist. Just saying. But yeah, I mean, everybody once again played cohesively, and for me, I am a Tobin Heath fan, so it's easy for me to talk about her being such a flank player and being solid on the flanks, and then switching to this central midfielder role. And I thought she did well. I thought she stayed back when she needed to stay back. I'd like to see her maybe move up a little bit when she has the opportunity to do so, because I noticed when she stayed back, the rest of the line did too, and when she moved forward, the rest of the line kind of inched a little bit forward. But I'd kind of like to see her maybe moving around a little bit if she's going to continue to play in that role. But otherwise, yeah, again, Kriege taking that knock was not good. We saw one of those already this year. We don't need to see another one. So we all kind of held our breath a little bit when that happened, but she ended up okay, so we'll take that.
Yeah. Your thoughts, Jen Hayes, second half?
Yeah, I gotta echo a lot with what Carl said. I hated the Kling celebration. Case in point, I come from Cincinnati, and the Bengals and the Steelers have a massive rivalry, so I have an undying hatred of the terrible towel. So watching it being whipped around was kind of made my blood boil a little bit. It's like, no, not here, please, not here. But yeah, I get why she did it. It's Pittsburgh. That's what they're known for. Let her have it. But I was like, oh, can we just move on, please? So yeah, that kind of thing. Like I said, Ali Krieger, giving us a little bit of a scare after we used up all our subs, because we had a game where we had to go down to ended up with 9 field players. It was in 2006, I believe, against the Netherlands. Christine Lilly got sent off a straight red for running her mouth at the referee, and then Abby ended up getting hurt after we had used all our subs. So we ended that match with 9 players on the field. So there's always a little bit of concern when, we make a lot of subs early and then a player gets hurt for just a second. Yeah, have that little bit of concern. But yeah, kind of same as the first. And the thing with Tobin Heath is a few years ago when Pia was still the coach, she had often talked about Tobin Heath as a future. I think she saw Tobin as kind of a future number 10, so we might be seeing that come to fruition in the next year or so, a little bit later than she had thought. We'll see if this was just a one-time thing with doing a little bit of experimentation. I liked it. It was an interesting move. It certainly didn't hurt us any. So yeah, I don't really have anything else to say except for that.
I'm going to get myself in trouble by saying this, so I'm just going to say it. And I told Jen Hayes not to say that I said this, but I'm just going to say it now, so that's fine. I'm throwing myself under the bus right here. I generally, sorry, Jen, I'm not a huge Tobin Heath fan. Not that I'm not a huge Tobin Heath fan. Like, she is super talented. However, I sometimes think she's very inconsistent, and that's frustrating to me. But going to hopefully take myself under the bus a little bit here by saying that I think that she did play really well yesterday. And I actually like her more centrally, and so maybe we'll see her there more often because, Ellis definitely made it seem like it was an intentional thing that she was trying out. So, and that might, who knows, that may free up potentially Heather O'Reilly staying on the team through the World Cup, through the Olympics, because there's one last flank player that's in the mix. We'll see. I'm going to be in trouble. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, oh, great. Yep, nope, confirmed. Courtney's in trouble. But liked her in the central role, so let's play her there a couple more times, see how it goes. Consistency, maybe. We'll see what's going on. I forgot to mention this earlier because I'm just a hot mess today. If you want to join in on the conversation, that was DJ quoted exactly. Hashtag WosoTalk on social media and send us your thoughts. I'll try to check them while we're on today and answer any questions you might have. So let us know your thoughts on the game yesterday, thoughts on lineup, substitutions, Tobin Heath, whatever.
Be careful with your Tobin Heath comments.
Yes, I'm already in trouble. I took that one. I'll take that one for the team. Viewers, I'll take it. And if you want to agree with me about Tobin Heath or not, if you do though, I'll own it and I'll take the heat for that. But yeah, send us your thoughts. Overall performance, I know we've kind of set up most of it through first and second half, but does anyone, Jen Hayes, have any final thoughts on the overall game overall?
I pretty much said everything I wanted to say. Great win. We got that feel-good victory to celebrate the fact that we won a third World Cup, and I do love the badge. I love seeing that badge on there. That's beautiful. I love the fact that we're going to have it for the next 4 years, and hopefully the next 8 years, and so on, because we'll keep winning World Cups. But that's much further down the road.
Yeah. Giancarlo, any additional thoughts?
I'll behave for the most part. That badge was awesome, minus the fact that it was like 10 million degrees and it kept like reflecting off the badge into the stands, and I'm pretty sure we all went blind at some point. But it's okay, it was worth it for that badge. So there's that. But yeah, it was a fun game. I enjoyed being there. I can't say, I enjoyed watching it from AC because one of the three of us was not in AC at the time. So it was a good game.
Okay. I'm gonna keep on you, Jen. I'm gonna bug you a little bit about, and I'll weigh in too. But my experience is a little bit gonna be different than yours because I did the whole media thing. But so what was it like? I'll do this so we're not being weird. How did this game compare to like any other game that you've been to? Did it feel different at all, or if so, how, and all that jazz?
It did. I think, what games have I been to? I went to a friendly last September in Rochester that was freezing. I seem to have, great luck with weather.
It was real. I was there. It was very cold that game, but it was.
And then I was at a couple of the CONCACAF qualifiers, and I'm actually going to compare this one to that game back in Rochester. Obviously, this one being Victory Tour, that one at the time being a friendly. It just felt much more relaxed. It was like, okay, we don't have anything to play for. We don't have to worry about qualifying. We don't have to worry about the World Cup. We don't have to deal with 10 million other things going on. It was very relaxed. The players seemed to be having just fun. You looked up and you saw them on the field, playing their hearts out, but also like smiling and laughing with one another and just having a good time. And to me, I think that's one of the reasons why the scoreline ended up the way it did, because they weren't, playing for a trophy. They weren't playing for a medal. They were just playing for the game. And I think that makes a big difference. So that kind of environment to me was really nice to see.
Yeah, I'll agree. From, again, just kind of giving from a media perspective, I definitely was different because normally, you're in some kind of other games that I've covered have been really like you're in the middle of some competition, like you're assessing lineups and things like that for like a tournament or a game or whatnot. And even like Saturday the press conference was kind of obviously it was very Klingenberg focused, being in Pittsburgh and things like that. And there were some questions about looking forward to the Olympics and such, but it was again, like you said, it was much more laid back, and the mixed zone also was much more laid back. Kind of same thing. Post game was very just a lot more laid back and more just kind of, I guess, experience questions, like the experience of playing in front of 44,000 people, the experience of it kind of being on the Victory Tour instead of like what's next, what's going on, like assessment of the game, go. There were some of that, but it just again seemed a lot more relaxed, which is something I'd never experienced before. So I thought that was kind of cool. Just hearing kind of players talking in that context instead of like solely in preparation for, like solely in an analytical term of how did my game go and how do I fix it. It was more like, wow, this was a great experience and we're happy to be here. And yeah, a lot of people like brought up the Olympics and a lot of people were like, a lot of the responses, well, we're not really worried about that now. So we're just kind of here to, celebrate the World Cup. And so that was a very cool experience to be at for sure. And I didn't write these questions, so what were some memorable moments before, during, and after the game, or just general experience of the weekend as a whole, I guess, whatever you want to talk about.
Oh God. Wow. It was a long weekend. That was a long drive. I'm still recovering from that drive last night. Well, this morning. That drive this morning. Yeah. No, it was a great weekend. We kind of made it into a soccer weekend doing the open training thing and going and tailgating and all that good stuff, and then the game itself, of course. And it was nice to have that. I'm not used to having that. I'm always having to do work with the Spirit, so I don't really get that fan side of it a whole lot. So it was nice to experience that for a change. Especially like at this capacity, at 44,000 people as opposed to our 5,000 we have at the Plex. Not knocking on our 5,000. Our 5,000 fans are great, but
yeah,
we can't fit 44,000 in the Plex. So it was
would be cool if you could, though.
Yeah, I mean we might be able to. It would just be really uncomfortable. So I guess like it was just cool like having that kind of experience, and half of the Spirit Squadron, most of the Spirit Squadron was up there, actually. So that was cool, too, to kind of be able to have that experience together, whereas, like I said, normally we can't. We're not used to that capacity. But the game itself was great. I mean, everybody was flailing and dying and jumping around like crazy people, so that was cool. Yeah, I mean, there's really nothing bad I can say. I don't think that there really weren't any downsides other than the stupid heat and burning sun. The clouds were a blessing when they came over, so that was good. But yeah, I mean, it was a great weekend.
And I'll just to echo that. Yeah, I mean, I still didn't. I opted to not have that. I wanted to cover the game, I mean, I opted to not really have a fan experience necessarily. But, I mean, I did get to hang around a lot more. The last couple games I've done, there haven't really been a lot of people around, like friends / people that I would hang out with. So it was cool. And it was cool to just be around people and to kind of just, again, like you said, most of the Spirit Squadron were there. And so all of that was just a great time to get to people and hang out. And just, I guess I've never been to a game that had that many people, and I think most people would feel the same way. I haven't been to a game where there was that many people, like that many fans in one place. And I think everyone just sounded amazing. The crowd was great, and so I agree. It was a great experience watching the game, and then I think the weekend as a whole was just a big, huge win. So that was awesome. And I don't know, I won't speak for you, Jen, but I know, and I'll take the blame because I didn't really do a good job with this. No one found me for the Find the Panelists thing, and I'll take the blame for that too because I didn't think it was going to be that hard to find me. because other games I've been to that I've covered, like usually there's some time where you're walking in the stadium before going to the press box. Normally, there's like the mixed zones like on the field so people can see you. But this was pretty much like I don't think I actually set foot in like anywhere in the stadium other than like that was outside or like in the actual concourse. So that was and then before the game I didn't bother to tell anyone where I was, so that was partially my fault. So oops. Did anyone find you, Jen, that like wasn't people who you were with?
No. And I did tell people what section I was in. I let people know. Well, I let DJ know to let people know that I was in 111, and nobody found me. I think there were just so many people that it was tough. So maybe the next game I won't be there. I think DJ will be. No, not Chattanooga. He'll be in Detroit.
Yeah.
Whatever the next game is, I don't even know. I don't know what's going on anymore.
Detroit is not the next game, but that's the next game I think any of us will be there. And Birmingham. I don't know which of the two are first, but there'll be people at both those games. So Birmingham, I think Neil will be there, and then Detroit, Mr. Redcap himself will be there. So stay tuned. Like I said, I did a bad job telling people where I was. Jen did tell people where she was, but hopefully we'll work this out. People can find one of us at some point. And there's that. So wrapping up, that wraps up the USWNT portion of the show. Yay. NWSL review. I'm going to mix it up and not go to that Spirit fan first and go to Jen Hayes to talk a little bit about the Chicago Red Stars versus the Washington Spirit.
Oh boy, I'm gonna get so bashed on by Carl because
I already did it. I'm already under the bus, so I don't know if you want to go under the bus. Go for it. Get me out.
So it's my turn. Yeah. Well, I'm gonna say I think on balance overall, if I was going to pick a winner, it would be the Spirit. You know, you look at Chicago had more of the possession, more this, more that, whatever, more corners. But I think the more dangerous chances, the view were more weighted towards the Spirit. And even though, once again, the Spirit got a goal by goalkeeper error rather than anything they really did. Sorry, but it's true. You know, I think they needed the 3 points more than Chicago, and I think they kind of wanted it. And shout out to Megan Oyster for getting that goal after having the one in the rained out game erased. It was just totally meant to be, you know. And congratulations to her in her hometown. Yeah, I think it was in her hometown.
Yeah, I think so.
So yeah,
Jen says yes.
Shout out to her for that. Yeah, and I also think Chicago kind of messed up a bit, you know, after they got the tying goal, which, again, what was Washington doing? I don't know if they were going for an offside trap and they just didn't execute it properly, and Tancredi snuck in and put one past Kelsey Weiss. Don't think there was anything she could have done about that, but yeah, again, going back to, I think Rory Dames kind of screwed up, because at that point, Chicago had the momentum, and I think he could have gone for the win instead of trying to hang on for a draw. Instead of putting Urseg in, should have subbed in Leon like he was going to, and really pushed the Spirit back line to try to get a win, but he didn't. And then Dunn gets that one shot, and it was a really weak shot. I mean, and in normal circumstances, I think that shot would have been saved, but LeBlanc really screwed up and it snuck in, and Spirit walk away with 3 points. 3 points they desperately needed. So yeah, a good win for them, a bit of a gritty win for them. So they're in good position, I think. Yeah, considering they go to Kansas City next, and Kansas City pretty much played them off the park the last time they were at Kansas. The last time they played at Kansas City. So I think if Washington is going to make the playoffs, they'll look at this game as the reason why.
Cool. And now that I'm probably even more trouble because I didn't go to the Spirit person first, and she probably really wants to talk about this game because they won. So I'm really just killing it today.
I'm sorry, and I want to call. I did think of one thing I want to say. I am officially calling Jen Carl out for not pointing out that when the Spirit and the Flash played, she said, "Oh, the Flash was just a dumb lucky goal." Remind me again how the Spirit scored their goal.
Oh boy.
I'm just saying, I've never said Crystal Dunn's goal wasn't sloppy. I haven't gotten to talk yet because somebody went to you first. So
man,
you could have said it was sloppy when you were talking about that game and you didn't. So right. I'm just calling you out on that. All in good fun, but I am kind of calling you out a bit.
Well, I'm in so much trouble now, so I'm just gonna go ahead and just let Jen talk and just kind of sit here and hope that Go ahead, Jen.
Yeah, no, I mean it was a sloppy way to finish, but we did it anyway. It was I said it then that it was a sloppy draw for Western New York, and it was kind of a sloppy win for us, but. At this point, we did desperately need the 3 points, and we did play a good game. So, had it not been a sloppy goal, I would have liked to see, maybe a stronger goal earlier on when we had more momentum, when we had more force. But, I'll still take it. It was Crystal Dunn, whatever. But yeah, Megan Oyster, nice to see her first professional goal that counted. And it was nice to see it when I wasn't standing out in the pouring down rain surrounded by lightning. Sucks I couldn't be on that game, but
you in weather, I'm concerned now about your weather for things.
Teams in weather.
It just follows me. I don't know. Nobody ever go to a game with me. But yeah, no, it was good. Because last time I was out there, we tailgated with Megan Oyster's family. So it was really cool because her parents were out there, her entire family was out there, and then her family brought friends and coworkers, and then they brought their families. So it was really cool because there was this huge Megan Oyster Spirit following in Chicago. So it was kind of like a family squadron, I guess. So it's really cool that Megan Oyster got to score that goal in front of them. And then it was Akobe's first appearance with the Washington Spirit, so that was kind of cool too to see that. But yeah, it wasn't the best way to win, but it was a much needed win. I thought we had a really good game. Kelsey Weiss, yeah, she did kind of. There were a couple of missteps for that tank goal. More so, I think, from the back line than from her. But she came up for that huge when Abby Urseg went for that header, and she made a crazy save then. Something I would like to note is that DMath and Haley Rosso kind of switched in this game. It has been DMath starting and then Haley Rosso coming in later. They switched it up this game. Haley Rosso went in, and then DMath came in later on. And I think that was a good move. Haley Rosso is only 20. She still has a lot to work on, and I think getting her those starting minutes are not only going to be a confidence boost, but they're also going to kind of give her the playing time that she needs to kind of perfect her ability a little bit. Because she's already been a great presence for us in Washington. So overall, I think it was a fair game for both teams. We did end up on a sloppy stoppage time goal, but we needed it. So sorry, Graham. I'm actually not sorry. But, hopefully we stay in second, or if we happen to bump Seattle out, I won't complain about that either. Sorry, Jackie and Karen. And Neil.
Wow, we got a lot of rain panelists.
Yeah, I don't know that I have anything else to add. I've got myself in trouble enough today, so yeah. On that note, moving on. Funny that you say don't go to a game with you because people are going to be going to a game with you in Chicago. So she's kidding. It's going to be great in Chicago. Nothing's going to happen. The weather's going to be beautiful. It's going to be a great day.
Oh, one thing I did.
Oh,
I'm
okay, go ahead.
sorry. One thing I did want to ask Carl is would you like to see Krieger return to the back line, and if so, who on that back line would you bench?
I don't know. I don't know so much that it's Krieger playing in the midfield as much as it is who plays with Krieger in the midfield. I think it's fine to keep Krieger there as long as there's another strong midfielder in there with her. And yes, I'm going to do some shameless plugging here and say, yeah, I actually really enjoyed watching Joanna Lohman play in there with Ali Krieger. I thought they had a really good combination. Just because, Krieger is an attacking defender and Jello's traditionally a more defensive midfielder. So seeing that combination kind of worked a little bit better for me than having, say, DaCosta in there with her or one of the other players that's maybe not as much of a holding midfielder. But, yeah, if we were going to put Kriege back there, I'd say, sorry, Kat, I might take out Catherine Reynolds. Just because I think Megan Oyster's been phenomenal. I would not take Megan Oyster. I would put Megan Oyster in the back line of the U.S. women's national team in years to come. So I would not take her out for anything. Estelle Johnson has been phenomenal. Whitney Church has been great. So I think out of the four, maybe Reynolds has been the least consistent. And that would be the only switch I could see.
All right. I'm still abstaining from. I'm good. Good game. Good win by the spirit. Well, win by the spirit, and I'm gonna just stop there. But yeah, back to watching games with the peeps from the show. We have a winner for the tickets on the 23rd. Is it the 23rd? I think it's the 23rd. And that would be Kimmy L. I don't like putting people's names out there. Kimmy L. You know who you are because DJ sent you a message, so check your messages. And yeah, so that'll be cool, hanging out with some of the peeps in Chicago. And that'll be great. So we're at that point. We're at that ranty point of the show, and I actually normally the host goes last, but I actually don't have a rant at all. So I had a fantastic weekend, and so there's nothing to rant about. So I'm out here, but we'll I know someone does have a rant, but we'll go to Jen Carl first. Do you have anything that you want to rant about?
I actually don't. Hang on, I'll think of something. Give me a minute. I'll come up with something here. It's Monday. There's got to be something taking me off. Weather? Crappy weather? That seems to be a trend in my life. There you go. There's my rant. I got nothing.
All right. That's fair. And Jen Hayes, I know, has a rant because it's this whole session was made because of Jen Hayes' rant. So have at it.
I'm gonna kill DJ for that. Seriously.
I mean, you know.
Well, what on earth were the? Here's my rant. What on earth were the people watching at FIFA who watched those Women's World Cup games thinking when they did not put Becky Sauerbrunn on the All-Star squad? That's my rant. I'm like, what on earth were you people thinking? She was the best, overall the best player the U.S. had. Yeah, I know Carly Lloyd got the golden ball, but she was, and to not even point her out as one of the best defenders, are you people blind? Did she pee in your Cheerios one morning or something? I was like, what are you people thinking? That's my rant, that she continues to get overlooked time and time and time again.
Okay, that's fair. That's a fair little rant there. Does anyone have anything else that they would like to bring up about anything before we call it a day?
Yeah. Do you guys think Lori Kolupny will be done with club soccer as well as international soccer this year, or do you think she'll play one more club season?
I'll let Jen go first with that, since I've been not letting her go first for everything else.
I see maybe one more season left in her, I think, as far as playing club goes. Yeah, I don't know that she'll stay on much longer than that, but I feel like she'll do at least one more season. Just because a lot of them kind of take that route where they retire from international soccer, kind of wind down in club, and then continue on in the sport, be it with coaching or with some other form of activity still remaining in the sport. So I think she'll take that route where she kind of slowly exits the playing role and enters into another role. But yeah, I was sad to hear that she was retiring. So thank you, Choops, for all that you did.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think she'll go. I think she'll go one more at least. All the time she wasn't playing for U.S. Soccer, she was playing club level. So I think that, good on her for going out internationally on her part. I know a lot of people thought she was one of those players maybe on the bubble for the Olympics. So I think making that decision yourself to go out, good for her going out on top like that and on her own terms and stuff like that. But I think she's going to play another season at least. I think that, I don't think that she's going to be done with soccer after this. I think we'll see her again next year. But I guess we'll have to wait and see. But that's my thought on that.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm going to give my point of view. Yeah, first of all, it's great for her that she gets to go out on her own terms. After all the drama with all the concussion issues, U.S. Soccer doctors not wanting to clear her, finally getting back after 5 or 6 years, winning World Cup. She deserves to be able to go out internationally the way she wants to, not because some doctor says you can't play for her. And as far as the club question, I think if Chicago somehow were able to pull off and win the championship, she might decide, okay, I've won a club championship. It could be time to hang it up. If they don't, which is more likely that they won't, I could see her maybe going one more season and then deciding, okay, I've done enough. But I mean, she really does deserve some of the success she's had. Not playing for U.S. for 5 or 6 years, playing on some really bad teams. I mean, if you watch when she played for Atlanta in 2011, they were pitiful. They were so bad. And she pretty much carried them through that season. Yeah, they only won one game, but she was by far the lone bright spot on that team. So she's had her battles. She's had her ups and downs. So, let her have however long she wants, go out on top, and then go on, do whatever she wants after that.
I agree. Right on. Any last other pressing questions, comments, concerns?
I'm good.
All right. So once again, this was Off the Post. Thanks for hanging out. If you have any questions that come up, or maybe you're watching this later on, after the fact, and you have any questions, still feel free to tweet hashtag WOSOTalk. Question could come up on another show, things like that. That's it for this week. Tune in. There's another show, I think Wednesday, perhaps. Wednesday, Thursday of this week. I should know that date, and I don't. But it'll be on the social media, so check it out. And the Red Cap, Thursday, thank you. The Red Cap will be back, so the 20th. So on the 20th is the next show. And be sure to check us out. Thanks for tuning in. Sorry for the delay and all the kind of unorganization, but that makes the show fun. So we'll see y'all on the 20th, and Peace out.